Hey guys, Khalid from Cricket Fanatics magazine here today with another special guest. Someone that actually played a major influence in my career as a journalist. I think she understands that or knows that, but she will help me build a lot of character over the years. So this is Lerato, former Proteas media manager. So I'm just going to talk to her a little bit about her journey, but like I always do on this show, let's just start with lockdown. So welcome to the show, Lerato.
Thanks, Khalid. Thanks for having me. And yeah, thanks for those kind words. I definitely didn't know.
Yeah. So first of all, let's just start with lockdown. How's that been for you, especially now with your new business, you're running a new business, etc. And how are you keeping sane during this lockdown?
Well, I don't know if many know, but I actually work from home, so it hasn't been too much of an adjustment. Obviously, not being
Yeah.
able to do things that you would do, but from a business point of view, it's been amazing. It's actually been such a blessing in disguise because I had to pivot, sort of look at the business in a new way. And yeah, I've managed to find so many other things that I hadn't thought of, I hadn't looked at. So that's really been good. So a lot of things I've been doing is obviously reading and trying to see ways that I can position the business. And yeah, it's been good. I must say, I won't complain. I'm not complaining at all.
Yeah, no, for us both. I mean, at first I was very stressed out when the lockdown happened because obviously we rely on matches to happen and to
Yeah.
do pieces on matches and anything that's happening in the industry to get interviews, etc. So I was like, I need to do this new medium video. I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I came up with
Yeah.
this idea, and so far so good.
It's been
Happily,
great though. Yeah.
yes.
Everybody wants some content to consume and you've been chatting to a lot of people, so I guess you haven't been bored at all.
Not at all. So this is an important one for me because I really wanted to learn more about your journey. I mean, we met about 3 years ago when I started off as an intern, obviously as a journalist intern, and we've always just seen you around and seen how busy you are. Obviously, we know how busy you are because you traveled with the Proteas, etc. But for people that dream about taking this position and being a media manager, etc. Can you maybe give some insight into that and how your journey started, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I think like with a lot, especially in the sports environment, I think you probably entered being a sports journalist, having started watching sports really early on and having a passion for sports. So that's definitely where it started. I mean, from a young age, I think I was probably 6 or 7, and my brother at home would always watch cricket and you start following it. And I used to be his ball thrower whenever he wanted batting practice. So yeah, and then the bug just caught, and I played at school, and I used to write about it at school as well. So that's when I sort of decided that I wanted to be a cricket journalist. And I was also very lucky early on having a mentor. That was very important because sometimes you have this idea of a career and a job, and then you do it,
Mm.
and it's not exactly what you thought it would be. So
Yeah.
um my uncle actually helped me get in touch with Cass Naidu. She was then obviously commentating, and I begged my parents to take me to a game so that I could, obviously meet him. We obviously lived quite far out of Joburg, but they did that, and we went to the game, and it was amazing. I was, your first cricket game is just like, oh my word, what, you know? So that
Yeah.
was really awesome. And meeting Cass, and she sort of guides you and asks you good questions like, are you sure it's what you want to do? What is your passion? And really helped me forge that journey towards cricket. And she, said to me, watch as much as you can, read as much as you can, because being female and you come into this male dominated
Mm.
world, there's always going to be those questions like, does she know her stuff? Is she just here because it looks cool or whatnot? So yeah, my cricket journey continued. I decided to study journalism. My parents were too happy. They're like, "What? Are you gonna? What you gonna live off?" But I was like, "No." I was really happy to get support from my family because they really backed me and helped me. And so I studied journalism, and I used to watch a lot of games. Whenever there's a game in Joburg, you go there, you just sit and you consume the sport, and then I got an internship to be at the Times I actually worked with Luke Alfred and
No, awesome.
Archie Henderson, who was really great. And they were also great mentors, sort of helping me write about sports. And, so yeah, it sort of progressed and progressed. And I guess for me, I was like at the right time at the right place because then there was an opening for a surprise internship at Cricket South Africa. And I got that. And I often say like, that the rest is history.
Yeah, wow. I actually didn't know that about you, so that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's really interesting because that's a lot of paths that every most people go on. It's like you want to be a journalist first, but I mean, when you became Proteas media, the Proteas media person,
Yeah.
how was that adjustment? Because I mean, obviously you looked up to all these players before, and now you
Yeah.
around them all the time in the dressing room. You're seeing them. I mean, in action close by. I mean, wow.
That was the hardest of my words. So I remember actually when I was offered the position, it was Cass and Gerald, and Gerald, who was still then the CEO, was like, you're going to be a whole female in this environment. Can you do it? And I was just like crapping my pants. I was like, oh my word, what is happening? This is like a dream come true, but I didn't expect it so quickly. But I did. And then I remember the first time I was so nervous. I mean, you had Carlos, Boucher, Graham, all these AB, all these guys there. And yeah, there were, and the funny thing is though, I came in, I'm the one who's nervous, but they're also, because it's a new person and they have to, you know, accept somebody new. And I must really commend them because they were amazing. They welcomed me with warm arms and just really made that transition very easy. But it was scary. I won't lie.
Yeah, it must be a difficult job to do, obviously, because you're obviously dealing with different types of personalities, and you need to know like who likes what, who doesn't like what. Like, how did you manage that? Like, how did you actually get to know them better, to understand them as people first?
By bumping heads, you know, yeah, the only way is you either just gonna get somebody on a bad day and you'll just realize, okay, actually, that's not the way to do it. Let's just yeah, by experience, really. I mean, as you go along, you understand they're also human. They go through things. You can't just expect them to be robots and to just press a switch and for them to switch on. So
Mm,
you get to understand. I mean, sometimes it's a test match. Let's say you have a Dale. He would have taken 5 wickets, but he's bowled 30 overs.
yeah,
Like all he needs is a Coke and to sit down and. Now, dear Lerato, you want to take it to the press conference as much as everybody wants to talk to him. He's also just processing. I remember we're in the UAE and Graham scored the double hundred in Dubai and
mm,
he was finished, like finished. And I was just like, but you know what? You're the star. There's no other person that anybody wants to hear of. You just got a
yeah,
double hundred. Nobody else is going to be able to sum this up. And I really felt so bad because, I could see he's like close to dehydration. You know how hot it is in
yeah.
Dubai. And I felt bad, but he actually said, okay, fine, I'll do it. Like sometimes, you feel bad, but you sort of like, okay, we need to do this. So they're very accommodating. I don't think I had too many buttons, but yeah, you sort of
Yeah.
learn along the way.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people don't realize, and I pick it up a lot with the younger guys that haven't had
Mm,
that opportunity to be able to be in front of media before. So when I've been trying to do that from a cricket fanatics point of view, trying to interview a lot of the youngsters, so that by the time they get to that level, they know what it's like to be asked difficult questions, etc. And at least they can come to me and practice before they go out
yeah.
to the world. So how do you do that at a national level? If a
And
new guy
that's
comes
great.
in.
Sorry to cut in. I mean, I'm saying that's great because a lot of people think, okay, you're an international sports person. You should just be able to speak to the media and be great at it and have a personality and just wow the cameras. But sometimes these people can suffer from insecurity. They can be shy. They can, be awkward with all their attention. And it definitely takes a lot of practice and a lot of, you know, um, hours behind the scenes, sort of, workshopping yourself and, you know, understanding what it is that the media need. because sometimes, the cliches, it's no point just you go out there and you speak and it's just cliches, you need to give
Mm.
and it's not just journalists, it's all your fans, it's the viewers out there, it's all going out everywhere. So understanding that there's a need, you're not just doing this just for the sake of doing it. I think that was very important for players to learn that, this forms a very big part about your brand and how people perceive you, and for you to take it very seriously. It's not just, I have to go do media, you should want to go
Yeah.
do it. Yay.
So this ties into actually the question, because you've been answering this question. So what exactly did you do as a Protea with the Proteas regards to media? So you are basically answering this question. So I'm just going to leave it on the screen and we can continue.
Okay.
So with regards to a youngster that comes, for example, a youngster comes into the system now or into the team, and they've never spoken to the media before. And obviously, I know as a journalist, the first person we want to know is that new debutant. We want him in front of the
Mm,
press. We want to ask him questions. How do you go about prepping him beforehand and just keeping him calm and
yeah.
making sure that he can be calm at that desk when there's a whole lot of journalists in front of him?
Yeah, I think, and making the person understand that sometimes players get told that the media are bad, or they're trying to trick them, or they're trying to get you to say something bad. I think we're not that type of media in South Africa. I think, we don't have that hardcore hitting journalists who are nasty and, are just out there to grab a headline. And I always just try to tell them, just be yourself. There's nothing that you're gonna say that's gonna make a headline unless you've got some kind of hidden past. But be yourself. They want to know you. They want to know the real you. If you share jokes, if you feel you want to tell a story, tell stories. That's what they want to hear. The only thing that you can do is be yourself, and that's the best part of it. You can't go there trying to answer answers before they get asked. Just don't try and think about it too much. I always feel just go out there and talk, and then after it's the first one, then you can come in and we can sit and we can listen in and discuss, like, okay, that was that question, this is how they asked it. Do you think you could have added more? Do you think you could have maybe used this angle, because that's a really great angle, that they would like to hear. So that's from the first part to the second. Yeah, so that's sort of how we deal with it.
Okay, that's awesome. And from regards to being part with the team, you've obviously traveled to so many different places with the team, etc., and seen so many historic moments. What are some of the moments that maybe stood out to you that you would say, like, you felt just okay? You probably always felt part of the team.
Besides the heartache.
Yeah, besides the heartache.
I'm not allowed to mention the heartache because, oh gosh, I could not go through another heartache. For me, really, the 2012 series when they got that maze, because the team went on this journey that started months before. First it was coming together, then going to Switzerland and Amsterdam, and really coming together as a team, getting to know each other. I mean, they went through freaking climbing mountains in the Alps. That was hard. Like, you saw guys struggling, but they pulled each other together. And it's one of those. It's such a lovely moment. I actually wish it would have been captured like almost how Australia captured it now with the test, because
Mm.
it really showed just that journey. And then you got to that first game at the Oval, and after day one, we were down in the dumps. The English media was saying, no, South Africa is shortchanging the public. Why are they even here? And then Hash comes in day two and like scores a triple hundred. And then there was just so much going on. KP takes gate, KP was just everywhere, all over us, and that second test, it was a draw. It was a draw at Leeds. Yeah, KP actually scored 100. And there was so much drama off the field, but the guys just stayed focused. And then to Lords, to win it there, it was, yeah, shame. No, that was an incredible series, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, so obviously in this role, you'll obviously build a lot of relationships with different types of players, and obviously they'll rely on you a hell of a lot. So, Lerato, I have a special surprise for you. I'm going to bring
Oh.
someone over here on with us.
Oh my word, you! I just can't get rid of you, can I?
Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
One
Khalid, I
question.
can't hear you.
Hey, can you not hear any of us?
I can only hear Lerato. I can't hear you.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know why. Let me just add you again. Still nothing.
Hello?
Nothing. Can't hear me. Okay. I don't know why.
Can
Can
you
you
hear
try?
him?
He can hear you, but he can't hear me.
I can't hear Khalid. I can hear you, Lerato.
Oh,
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna let you. Okay, I'll message you privately now. Um,
me.
JP.
Okay. Buddy, what's going on with your hair?
Did you not see that video my wife posted?
No. What happened?
Oh my goodness.
Were you
Please not
sleeping?
play it.
What? Oh my word.
No.
You like allowed her to cut it.
I took I took a leap of faith and thought, okay, let me try this, see if it works. Then she cut a cut in my cup, and then I was like, okay, now it's a recovery mission.
Oh my word. Oh wow.
Yeah,
It's not
So you
too bad.
still
You work
nothing?
at it.
yeah.
You still can't hear me. Lerato, can you just ask him to
So
just
how you
leave the
been?
stream? No.
Very well. Very well. Must I
What you been
ask him?
up to?
Just ask to leave the stream and come back in again. Just try that.
Khalid's asking if you can leave the stream and come back in. I don't know how to leave.
Okay, let's try that.
Leave studio.
I don't know why he can hear me. You can hear me. Fine. So it's
Yeah,
weird.
it's weird.
That's never happened before.
Have you done
So
it this way before?
I've done two people on the screen before. Yes. So it's quite weird that it's doing that. It doesn't normally do that. So yes, Gio, she did answer this question before. She said that,
Oh,
yeah, she said that Cass actually obviously was a big part in her career as well as some people at the
28.
times, of
Yeah.
course. So you guys can go back later on. It will be live. It will be on YouTube after this. So we're just gonna wait for JP to come back on again, and maybe he can hear me this time. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a small surprise and see how
That
you did
was
actually.
lovely.
JP, can you hear me now?
There you go.
There we go.
Ah, yay.
Finally, thanks.
Technical malfunctions.
Happens, eh? I did a whole interview with Jeff Toyana, and the connection just cut completely, so I had to cancel the whole one. It was quite a nightmare. So things happen with
Okay.
technology, I guess. But JP, thank you.
Mm.
Welcome to the show. I've always
Pleasure.
I just thought that this would be an awesome moment for people to actually get to know Lerato properly and get to know a little bit more. So I'm giving you the platform at the moment to just ask her a few questions or tell her a few things. So
No
that the
pressure.
floor is yours.
So I'm the host, am I? Or co-host?
Yeah, all of a sudden.
I didn't see this in the fine print. But I caught a little bit of that story. I was sitting in backstage, as this thing tells me, and you were talking about the 2012 series in the UK, right? But you kept referring to that series as they and not us. Why is that?
Because that's probably been the hardest part of my job, right? Is you have to service, fine, you're part of a team, right? But you also got
Yes.
this job to do where you're supposed to take yourself out of the team because you need to serve a certain function. And I remember sometimes getting flack, people thinking, oh yeah, she thinks she's one of the players, but she doesn't even go out and play. What does she think she is, you know? So I guess it's just one of those things that's sort of ingrained in my head. Like, you know, I never say we, never say we. It's yeah. But yeah, that's where it is. Which is actually one of the biggest conflicts that I would have because I get to know these guys as people and as humans, and then you hear other people who have a go at you guys as players, and having a go at your character, and it's just like, but you don't even know them, just one of the many conflicts of the job.
Are you done?
Is
Are
it
you done with
wrong?
this?
Okay, I'm
Are you done with this rubbish statement?
I'm done.
It's always been a we. I mean, I would not be able to regard you as a work wife if it wasn't a we.
True.
You know what I
Definitely.
mean? So
Yeah.
take the pat on the back. You were part of that. Not only that great moment, but the decade that you were part of, or however long it was. It's something to be proud of, man. And I believe that it's people that are saying those things that are envious of you, that are envious of the position and wanted to be in that position. I think Khalid was one of those guys that probably said that, and he wanted to be in your position. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah,
Thank
So
you.
yeah.
it was really
What is
amazing
a
to watch
what,
you in action. It
what
really
I mean?
was
What is a
amazing to
work
watch you.
husband then? What is a work
Yeah.
husband meant to do?
Do you need an invoice now that we're divorced for the counseling session, or could we just get that as a freebie?
Well, we first need to determine in our contract, in our marriage contract, what do we sign? Was it the community of property? Was it,
Yeah, whether it was still community of property, yeah. So
Okay.
still,
Well, so what you up to now? What's happening besides obviously the lockdown stuff? But
yeah, I'm businessing and working. I'm actually very grateful that I actually have work, which is great.
you talking about the website or?
Yeah, the PR and com side of things. I'm actually also dabbling in player management, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I got my first client. So
Are you allowed to share or not?
No, not
Is it
yet. No.
confidential? Okay.
Yes. So yeah, but it's very small. I don't.
You
I
can
still
tell
wanna
you can tell your ex-husband offline, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, but I really just want to more focus on the women's brand. I think, there's so many, the women's game is growing so much, and a lot of them don't have that support in terms of brands and, growing that side of their game. So yeah, that's something that I'll probably do more of it for free than for anything, but it's something that I'm very passionate about.
Nice. Well, I hope it goes well.
Thank you.
And I'm here for a free consult for
Oh,
any
yeah.
mentorship opportunities.
That is amazing.
First session free.
Oh, okay.
JP, actually want to JP, I just want to
Yeah.
jump in and ask you a question, because obviously we don't know, and a lot of the public don't know actually how important this role is that Lerato did, and what an influence she had on the players and etc. Can you maybe just give us that a little bit of insight into that, because her role was quite massive between keeping the peace between the outside world and actually what's happening with you guys.
Yeah, it's definitely around the perspective of what things need to be mentioned and said at any specific time. So there, you know the saying of there's a place and a time for what you need to say and do, and one of her main roles was to identify those different times and perspectives of sharing certain information. Because as a team environment, particularly an elite team, you can't just come out into a press conference, for instance, and just blurt out everything that you're thinking, doing, and talking about behind the scenes. So yes, you want to give people an insight into what's happening behind closed doors, but it's how you deliver that message. And she was an integral part in kind of shaping the story. So you're giving a little bit of what's happening, but you can't, you just can't share not the entire truth, but the entire story, because there is a confidentiality part to it that you need to respect as the outside media or just the public in general. But also we needed to find ways as players and management to be authentic in sharing information. And she was an integral part, as I was saying, in bridging that gap. And as you said, she did a fantastic job for 10 plus years, and she's hugely respected within the cricketing environment and fraternity. Dynamite comes in small packages, as one would say, and yeah, I've got a lot of love for her, and so many of us do, and we'll carry that for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. So,
Aw.
Aww.
Lerato,
Aww.
and to be able to manage players and different players, you've already touched on that. But JP, with regards to non, like, I know you guys obviously when you have your time off, probably the most difficult part of it for her is because a lot of us will come to her and ask her when we have the off season that we're looking for content to put out there. And how did you manage that? How did you help in managing that? Because obviously, or Lerato, you can also give some insight into this. Is because during the off season, journalists are searching for content. They want their time off, etc. And then you have to have those conversations with them.
So here's the tough part of that, Nana, is that everyone that you've put us in touch with over the years, they saved our numbers for post cricket. So now they contact you directly. They don't have to go
Oh,
through you anymore.
lovely. Yeah, that was always
But
hard.
it was. But you had a few bankers, I guess,
Yes,
for the
yeah.
hard ones, and because of our relationship, I guess you kind of banked on that with regards to me at times. But yeah, man, it was understanding the role outside of just the on-field stuff, and it's a tough thing to accept sometimes, and the responsibility that comes with that, and still trying to be authentic in that and not just give the general platonic answers that a lot of journalists get and can kind of sift through. How do you be authentic and real, but also navigate through giving the amount of content you want to.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, man.
And I always just said, yeah, just go away to the bush or just go overseas and then we'll be fine. Switch off your phone. Yeah, but that
AKA
was always
Connie
tough. Yeah, and it's just for journalists. You have your commercial partners, they see a gap, they want to film shoots and all that stuff. So it's never ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So thanks, JP, for coming on and to giving us some entertainment. We're getting some questions in the comment section over here, so I'm just gonna ask them over to Lerato. So thanks a lot. You can just give me
Cool, guys.
a final few words about Lerato before we leave.
Well, where does one start? Final few
Oh
words
gosh.
cannot give it the full context of what I have to say. You know what I mean? But yeah, Nana, thanks, man, and I know you know this already. I've said this many times. Thank you for all the sleepless nights, because I'm sure you would have had many sleepless nights, with the job. As much as you didn't want to take it personally, you took it personally. You took it to heart how things affected people, and particularly us, the players and management. So we appreciate all the time and effort you put in over the years, and I just want to wish you all the best for the future endeavors. I know I played a small part in the startup of the website and so forth,
Good.
and that was awesome, man. And it's great to see you trying new things and taking a few risks, because that's what it's about. Stepping into the unknown is taking a few risks and not necessarily knowing what the future holds, but stepping into a passion, stepping into something that you really love. And one can hear by what you were saying about not only the website and the com side of things, but also the sports management side, that you've got a real heart for people. And I know that one of those things is that you're trying to grow the game within women's cricket. So may it go from strength to strength, and know that we love you and appreciate you, and we look forward to having the bird's eye view of how it unfolds.
Thank you. And thank you
All
for
right,
just always being there. I think that's the thing I treasure the most. Always there to
anytime.
listen. Yeah.
All right, no problem. All right,
Bye.
guys, much love and peace.
Thank you, man.
Cheers. All right,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Okay,
Oh, that's a nice surprise. Thank you.
no problem. So we're gonna go into a little bit. Actually, he said something very interesting over there that I'll get back to later on. But let's just get into the comment sections because we have some very important ones that can really help. So we've got Amara over here who wants to know what is your advice to females in the industry, especially in these trying uncertain times?
Yeah, that's a very good question and definitely uncertain. But I think, a lot of things that we do have in our possession is time and resources. There's so much that you can learn. I mean, I'm still doing a lot of online learning. I'm still, talking to a lot of people about things. So people have time, and you never know who you might reach out to who can give you the information that you need. I'm not sure in what sort of context when you say industry, but if it is journalism you want to do, there's so much reading that you can still do now. There are lots of online courses that can also help if you want to go into broadcast, if you want to go into, I don't know, administration even. So my advice is to reach out to all those resources that are available on the web, and to reach out to people. You never know. I think it's so important to have a mentor, because most of the time we live in our heads, and it is not always a conducive environment. And to just get somebody to prep you up when you're feeling down, to give you a bit of direction and motivation, it's just so important. So that would probably be my advice right now. A lot of people are
Yeah,
sitting at home, so reach out.
yeah. And another thing is also is do not let things affect you when things go negatively. You need to be positive and remain positive and push through those obstacles.
Definitely. And
So
Khalid, how are you keeping positive?
yeah, well, I do keep it positive by listening to stories, cricket
Ah,
stories all day, and my team that I have available to me is really keeping me sane at the moment. They're keeping me happy. They're keeping me driving forward, and I mean, I have a lot of sleepless nights where I'm constantly thinking about what content I'm going to do,
of
what new thing,
course. Yeah.
how am I going to do it in the correct way, and how am I going to do it in a way that is not how things were before. So I'm always trying to go on the same path and on a straight path, and they've been
Mm,
keeping me sane. So I'm lucky enough to have them around me.
that's
Um,
great.
s- so here's another one. Actually, she's one of the new writers that have joined the group,
Okay.
and she says, "Lerato, you had absolutely one of the dream jobs. How did you adapt to a normal life after that whirlwind, non-stop travel lifestyle, to staying in one place now?"
It's a great question. It took me so long. I almost took like a 3 to 6 month sabbatical after I resigned. Just to find myself, because I actually didn't know who I was. Because, like you say, you're just in a whirlwind. You come back from tour, then you have like 2 3 weeks, and then you just switch off and you go visit family, and then you on the road again. You just come back home to just pack a bag or refresh, and you go and you go and you go, and you don't actually know how to be normal. And after that, I literally didn't know what to do. And somebody just said, just sit down and be calm, and it'll come. And as the weeks progressed, I sort of started finding things. Obviously, I had to restart my career, business, and doing hobbies that I liked that I never used to do anymore. I started doing that, and that helped. And then cooking, then you start to get into a new normal. And luckily, my partner as well being around really helped. And yeah, but I must say, like, he would go to work and I would just sit at home, and I was like, okay, I'm tired of watching Netflix now. What do I do? It was tough. I won't lie, but yeah, and also just trying to find purpose, because I'm a very purpose-driven person. I like to have purpose in the things that I do, and having cricket being and the Proteas having been my purpose and passion for so long, I'd sort of like, what now? I didn't know
So
what
that's
to do.
that ties in nicely into the next question because this is more
Yeah.
personal life type of thing. So Ravi really wants to know, Lerato, what's on your Netflix watch list at the moment?
Good one. I feel like I've gone through everything. I watched Money Heist. I thought that was great. I really did. And then I watched Ozark, which I also thought was great. And it finished. And then been watching The Last Dance, which has been amazing to watch that journey of the bulls. And now I'm watching The Witcher, which is not really my scene, but I'm sort of like, I'm run out of things. Do you have any suggestions? I'm
So
open to suggestions.
you mentioned two that I've already started watching. Money I start finished, and
Yeah.
I'm busy with Ozark at the moment.
Okay.
Um, so with regards to Netflix, it depends what you're into,
Mm.
but there are a lot of I could say maybe teen dramas, but I know I enjoyed Peaky Blinders a hell of a lot. I
Did you?
thought
I saw that, but I don't
But
know.
I don't think that's your seed though.
Yeah, no. I tried to
um,
watch that lockdown one, but I get tired of reading subtitles.
yeah. So this the foot. I don't know if you watch the. I know you love football, and
Yeah.
Ravi is a friend of mine as well, and she's a Man United supporter. So he's gonna come in. If I tell him
Okay.
that now, he's gonna come in with a whole lot of Man United questions. I just know it. But there's about the beautiful game. There's a game about how the English game started. I think it's called the English game.
Really?
It's a
It's a
series. It's
documentary.
not a documentary. It's a
Okay.
series.
All right.
So that's a very
We'll try
interesting
it.
one.
It's called The Beautiful Game.
I think it's called the English game. It's called.
The English game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
it's
I'll
based,
do that. I'm into
that's
documentaries a bit, but
if you're
sports
looking,
documentaries. Yeah.
yeah, and if you're looking for more, it's the first United question. If you're looking for more of a, it's more teenage orientated in a way, I think, but it's called Off the Block, which is an
Okay.
interesting series also that you could
Off
watch maybe.
the block. All
Yeah,
right.
it's different.
Did you watch You?
Did I watch?
You.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All
you.
right.
Yes, I have watched
Yeah.
you. Sorry, I heard something else. So I watched you. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And that there's Queen Sona now as well, the South African one. I haven't watched it
Yes,
yet.
watch that. I did watch that. I
I haven't
enjoyed
watched
it.
it. So
Yeah, it's good.
let's go with you. Okay, I'll ask the Kings one later, but let's start with a little bit of a United one. Favorite Man United player of all time.
Oh my word. That is okay. So, okay, a little bit about me. So, I was a Man United sufferer. So, I was a little like in my early teens, 1999, right? So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a little bit of a culture of mine. He was never really good. He was never, I know he wasn't spectacular, but I really loved him. And it just breaks my heart to see how he's aging now.
He was
Yeah.
phenomenal player.
He was sort of like, he wasn't out there, when like all the others, but during that 99 team and obviously that final, it was like, then I was just hooked. And then it's almost like, who's your all-time cricket player? Favorite? Khalid?
Probably was always Herschel Gibbs. I loved Herschel Gibbs when I was a
Oh,
kid.
really?
Growing up, I mean, when I used to bat, I used to put my collar up when I was a small child. I used to put my collar up when I used to bat. The only thing is that I was left-handed. So, but Herschel Gibbs
Yeah.
was my favorite player of all time. Yeah, I used to love him the
Oh,
way he batted.
yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Solskjaer was special because to be able to do what he did, to come off the bench and score 4 goals or
Yeah.
3 goals or pull you out of trouble. It's almost like a number 6 batsman coming in when there's 3-5 down, coming in and saving the game.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
something
we're
that's
still waiting for that guy. Hey, kidding.
yeah. So
And who do you support? Liverpool.
me,
Yeah.
no United.
Are
I'm a
you
United fan.
United? Oh, I don't know. And your
Yeah,
all-time favorite? I don't know. Oh.
Paul Scholes and well,
Oh,
okay.
yes. See,
It's
Skull's part of that
difficult. It's
era.
difficult because the person that got me into United was David Beckham,
Yeah.
and I've always been a number 7 fan of Cristiano Ronaldo. And Ronaldo, I remember watching Ronaldo play that game against Sporting Lisbon when he was a youngster. I saw the match, and then I was like, oh wow, this kid is good. And then we ended up signing him, and then I was like, wow. And then I found out we born on the same birthday. He shares a birthday with me and you. And then I went,
Oh, really?
yeah,
I had no idea. Okay.
yeah. So Ronaldo's on our birthday. Neymar, Tevez.
How do you know Lloyd Bernard?
So yeah, but as I grew older, I started falling in love with midfielders a little bit more. So obviously, then Paul Scholes, I started watching back games of Paul Scholes. So I became a fan of Paul Scholes much later on because I was obviously young when those players were in their peak.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's another
Scholes
one
was
from
magician.
yeah. This was another one from Taskeen. Is there any cool lockdown recipes that you can share with us? Something quick, healthy, and easy.
Nothing healthy. I just made brownies last night at like 10 o'clock. I was just like, what are we doing? Been making fat cooks. I've been haven't been healthy at all. Tasking, sorry. I'm the wrong person. I only exercise so that I can eat.
This is
But
an awesome
eating
one. I never thought of asking you this actually. Who was the most pleasant international cricketer you met from the opposition team?
Oh, that is a great question. Um, oh my word. Aaron Finch.
Wow, I didn't expect
Aaron
that.
Finch. I know. Yes. Such a lovely guy. That funny when they were here, um, now a few months ago, I was in Santon and I just hear Lerato. And I'm just like, huh? Hey, Lerato. I'm like, oh my word. Hey, he's like, how you doing? And then you're like, oh, how's it going since you left? Like really, I was just like, wow. You talk to people and you don't actually think they're gonna and like remember your name. But we'd hang out a few times because obviously I was also friends with the Australian media manager. So, but then he was just so nice. But there are a few more. Can I think about this and I'll
Yeah, of
tell
course.
you, Ravi, towards the end.
Okay, cool. That's
What do you
perfect.
mm.
Ravi, obviously, yes, he loves his food.
No man, Ravi.
uh,
No.
so, can I
Wait
ask
a
you
minute.
some? I wanted to ask you always something. I wanted to know because I've obviously never traveled overseas. I'm covering
Mm.
cricket yet. I was supposed to be with the World Cup. That was going to be my opportunity, and then it
Oh,
went.
don't take us back there.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm not going
talking
to take
about you not coming.
it. So, what was India like touring there? Because we know that the Indian fans are phenomenal. That I get a lot of DMs from them asking me questions about cricket all the time, and they tell
Mm.
you they watch my videos, they comment over here. So, what was it like to travel there? And how difficult was it to keep your team safe? Because I mean, there would have been pretty fanatics in all around the
Oh,
streets,
so
especially
let me tell you
especially
a
with having AB
story.
in your team. especially with
Pardon,
having
having
especially with having AB in your team. I mean,
Easy, imagine. Poor guy. I'll tell you two stories. So my first tour to India was my first international tour with the team, and it was the 2011 World Cup. I was never ready. It was just insane. It's just so overwhelming. I mean, there's so many journalists, and I made the one mistake of putting my number like at the end of a communication. So now you can imagine. And everybody, hello, sir, hello, sir, hello, sir. And then it was just too much. I actually had a breakdown, to be honest with you. I like broke down. I can't remember where we were. We were in the team room and I was just like, I can't do this. I can't. And I started crying and then I ran to my room. And to this day we still joke about it. And then after a few hours I'd like open my door and Dale saying it left like a bow and outside my door. And to this day we still joke. I was like, just remember that time in India where you just couldn't handle it. And then the more you go, you understand how to deal with the media and the fans. But this one time, it was in I can't remember the year. Dale can't keep still. He's like, puts on the group. I'm gonna go watch a movie. He wants to come. We're in Rajkot, so Rajkot is like out in the rural India, and you don't expect. It's like I found a cinema. Let's go. We go. It was me, Dale, a few other guys I can't remember, and the liaison and the security. We go to the cinema. One person spots Dale. It's like, oh no. Then it's like a whole horde of people following, and then we get in, we sit. Okay, we think, okay, we'll be cool. We watch just the movie and then show everybody the crowd with the dispersed. Ha! When we get out, everybody's still waiting there. There are hundreds of people. We had to get like the more security and like escort. In my word, I was just like, this is unbelievable. These people waited like for 2 hours and
that's
they're
incredible.
still there. It's just so amazing. I mean, but touring there is lovely. I mean, the people, the hospitality, the people are great. I've got of the all the countries I've been to. I think I've got the most Indian journalist friends. So I really did enjoy it, but yeah, it's the fanatics there are just too much. I don't know how AB does it, or any of the
Yeah.
guys who go to IPL.
No, that's insane. Yeah, I wanted to know that because, yeah, Indian journalists are amazing. They were so helpful to me because one of my first full tours that I covered actually was the India tour. So it was the one when they came here, and then
Okay.
yes, and then afterwards, obviously, there was the ball tampering tour. Um,
Oh
so
yeah.
those were the two big ones that I managed to cover, and yeah, so they
What's
were
been the
so
highlights
helpful.
of your cricket career as a journalist?
Sure, it must be the what happened at the ball tampering saga.
Mm,
That was insane, and I was so directly involved with everything that was happening. Um, like I didn't know at the time how big it was, what happened with the whole Sunny
yeah.
Ball Williams thing, and I interviewed the guy that created the masks, but it was supposed to just be a tongue cheek fan interview, and
So
it
you
ended.
broke? Did you? Okay, carry on. What?
So
Why did I
so
know this?
Yeah, so I interviewed the guy that like the creator of this animal mask, and we put it up on our channel, whatever. But then all of a sudden, it went completely viral in Australia. It was on Channel 9 and everything, and I was like, what's going on?" So we had to take it.
Oh
So,
my
but
word.
it was a very like it wasn't like we didn't think it was a massive thing at the time, and then
Yeah.
it just went to spiral from there. And then we went to Cape Town, and we were sitting in the. Obviously, we were one of the first people to break the the first image of Bancroft, etc., putting an article out there, and then it went completely viral, and then the actual thing happened, and we're sitting in the press conference, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I still remember speaking to Crystal, and I told
Yeah.
her like, I don't know what happened here, like. I don't understand. Like, can you just maybe give me some advice to this, how I'm going to take this all in? Because I'm running everything at the moment. I'm doing the reports, I'm doing the news, I'm doing the videos, I'm like overwhelmed of what I must do. And she's like, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to experience something so big in my life. And she's like, trust me, she hasn't. And that made me realize,
Wow.
whoa, this is actually one of the biggest things that has ever happened in cricket in ever. So I think
Yeah.
that was probably one of the biggest or most stressful series that I've ever covered. Um, so yeah, I think that was maybe well, I won't say a highlight, but it was one of the biggest
Yeah.
ones. It's one of the busiest I've ever been because yeah,
Yeah. No, that
I mean
was yeah.
because that period I traveled to every game that the Proteas played at home. So it was I basically fly a similar schedule to you guys, just on a different plane
Yeah.
almost. So it was like I was like I don't understand how these players do this when they go from T20, especially the T20s, and how you guys did that.
Yeah. T20s are crazy.
Because I mean it's game fly. It's almost like you don't really have a day to really relax. I
Yeah.
mean, with tests, at least you have a day to settle. You know, a few days to settle down. You have your training up leading up to the game day. Whereas with T20s, it's like you play the game. Next morning you fly. Then you have a training and you play again, and then you're just on the plane all the time. So I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Um, so yeah,
it's weird. Funny, we went on a trip and overseas, and it was so weird, like traveling alone, and not having this whole group of people and all these
yeah,
things, and it's actually it felt like new traveling. So you
yeah.
get used to it after a while. Yeah.
So just to finish off, Lerato, I want to ask you about your business. I want you to be
Okay.
able just to speak to us about it. Tell us what you're doing. Tell you what you're up to, and promote it a bit. I'm going to give you the floor to do so.
Jeez. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, like I told you, after the Proteas, I sort of had to find a passion and a new purpose to, something that really drives me and, you wake up in the morning and you want to do. So I've sort of didn't go into a full-time job because I realized that, I haven't been on the project for 10 years. There's so many other things that I want to do. So I've started a company that specializes in a whole lot of things. I mean, the core is sports PR and communication. So I consult to a lot of clients who need a lot of strategy, digital or PR and communication. So that's the core of my business. But there's also other things that I focus on, which is, the Passion Project, which is it's a platform that I set up that, hopefully I'm trying to really kickstart. And, I want to speak to a lot of, similar to what you do, but not so similar, because, I want to speak to a lot of sports personalities about, sort of their lives off the field. Everybody knows what they do on it, but, just the things that sets their souls on fire, what makes them wake up in the morning, what makes them train so hard. So that's the Passion Project. I've also got a little bit of player management. Like I said, I'm very passionate about the women's game. I think it's growing so much, and there's still so much that can be done. And I want to be that support for the women's players, help them with their brand management, the image management, and to really get their personalities and their platforms out there. So that's something that, it's sort of came to me now during the pivot. I'm just like, during lockdown, I mean, what can I do to help others? I mean, I've been working with a few of the women's brands. So yeah, it's something that I've been doing. And otherwise, what am I missing? I'm probably forgetting something, but that's sort of like me in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So
And thank you for the platform.
no problem. Wherever you need help, we'll try our best to help you. I'm also trying to help as many people as I can possible.
Yeah.
I mean, the women's game is amazing. The people, the personalities. I mean,
Yes.
think about some of the people that I've interviewed so far. Claire, what she's doing for the women's game in the Western Province region. Denisha, what she's done for women's cricket as well.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I remember Denisha when I used to work with them, and when she started playing, it's so difficult to also just plan that life after cricket when you stop playing. And I'm so happy to see how she's just, and I wish her all the best.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Lerato, for this interview. I really
Is that
enjoyed
it?
it.
Oh, that was quick. Yeah, it was so enjoyable.
I'm sure we'll have
Yeah.
many conversations in the future, and maybe we can do some things together. But thank you for coming on the platform, giving me this opportunity to get to know you a little better. Just lastly, you can just give a short message to the Cricket Fanatics magazine fans that have come on and watched you and tuned in.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on and watching. I hope it was entertaining, and I hope you keep supporting this platform. I think Khalid's doing an amazing job, and I can't wait to see who's going to be next. No pressure.
Thanks a lot, Lerato, and I'll speak to you again soon.
All right. Take care. Bye.